We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Kathopanishad, second chapter, the third section. We have finished 8 mantras of the third section out of 18 mantras. Today we are going to start the 9th mantra. And all these mantras are having one topic. The topic is Atma revelation. Atma is the very essence of all of us. Suppose I remove the body, the 3 sharirams, what is left out is Atma. Suppose I remove the 3 avasthas, what is left behind is Atma. Suppose I leave out the Panchakoshas, what is left out is Atma. Try to keep this definition of Atma from Tattva Bodha always at the back of your mind when you study any Upanishad. So when you study the Upanishad, you must keep the goal in mind. Oh, is this what is being revealed? So that when the Upanishad reveals it, you will grasp it. Grasping will only happen when you're looking out for it. And what you're looking out is your nature without the 3 bodies. Your nature which is timeless. That is the question which Nachiketa asked. What is beyond the past and the future? That means he wants to know, is there anything beyond time? So when the Upanishad tries to give out etat vaitat, you are that, you are that, you are that Atma. You have to link it to the question of Nachiketa. And also try to understand in your own self whether what is being taught to Nachiketa is what is being taught to me. Because these Upanishads are supposed to reveal my own nature. That is why this is Sanatana Dharma. It is always there. As long as human beings are there on earth, you will have to know your true nature only by the study of these Upanishads. That is what Upanishads say. There is no other source to know who you are. Your real nature, I will come to know when I use the Shastra mirror. So let us study forward. Let's go to the 9th verse and understand how the Upanishad is trying to reveal our own Swarupa. Let's chant the 9th verse first.
न सन्दृशे तिष्ठति रूपमस्य न सन्दृशे तिष्ठति रूपमस्य न चक्षुषा पश्यति कश्चनैनं न चक्षुषा पश्यति कश्चनैनं हृदा मनीषा मनसा विकृप्तो हृदा मनीषा मनसा विक्लृप्तो य एतद्विदुरमृतास्ते भवन्ति य एतद्विदुरमृतास्ते भवन्ति.
What is the gist of this mantra? This mantra says that this Atma cannot be seen by the eyes. Like in Kenopanishad, na chakshushar gacchati, na vag gacchati, na manaha gacchati. The same message is given in this mantra. Eyes cannot hold Atma because it is not an object outside. The eyes are known by Atma through the mind. Then what is the next step? What is the second thing? Suppose you say, okay, my eyes cannot know it, but through the mind, can I think about it? No, you cannot think through the mind and the intellect. Mind and intellect are the same instrument, one instrument. So you cannot think, it is not a thought. The thinker is the Atma. The thought is the Anatma. So even in meditation, we don't try to bring the thought of Atma directly. We only take the direction of the thought. And then we say Lakshyata. Vachyata is the meaning of the word. What we have to see is what is the indicative meaning of that word which we are using in meditation. So incessant meditation, that means it can be known, it can be revealed to us when we contemplate on the Vedic mantras which reveal the truth. Those who know this Atma, they know that this Atma is Brahman. What is the what is the difference between Atma and Brahman? Atma is the essence in the individual body. Brahman is the essence behind the whole universe, including my body. Brahman is supposed to be Jagat Karanam, Shrishti Karanam, Sthiti Karanam, Laya Karanam. Brahman is the cause of the existence, sustenance, and the resolution ground of the entire universe. And Upanishad says you can know it. You can know it not as an object, but as the subject. In order to know this, what are the conditions, what are the preparations which are necessary for Atma Jnanam? First thing is you should have human birth. What about if I was a bird, or if I was any other animal? Can I know Atma? No, you cannot know because you cannot study the scriptures. So first condition is human birth, like it is said in Vivek Chudamani also. Getting a human birth itself is through punyam. It is always punyam which is responsible for our birth in this body. The second condition is we should have Atma, Anatma, Viveka. Through the study of Upanishads, I should know there is an Atma which is beyond the Anatma. We should be able to penetrate through the Panchakoshas like we did in Taittiriya Upanishad. So, Tvam Pada Viveka means what? I have got two natures. One is Vachyata, another is Lakshyata. Vachyata is the direct meaning. I am this body. Lakshyata is what? I am Atma. So I should have this condition of knowledge in my intellect. That is why scriptures, they spend a lot of time trying to bring out this viveka in us by analyzing the world, the features of the world. Anityatvam, Nityatvam, Savikaratvam, Nirvikaratvam, Gunatvam, Nirgunatvam. All these are all ways to discriminate what is Atma, what is Anatma. Then concentration, chitta ekagrata. These are conditions. You see, the Upanishad itself says that these are the preliminary setup which my mind has to get ready for the Atma Jnana. Chitta ekagrata means I should be able to focus on the talk for 1.5 hours without any disturbance in my mind. Because step by step, the Upanishad is revealing the nature of art. Our total mind is required. Not that for 5 minutes I am here, and then after 5 minutes I look at my mobile, I see what are the messages. Again, I come back to the talk. Again, I go back to my mobile, see the messages, who is calling me, who called me. No, that is not what is required when you study Upanishads. You set aside 1.5 hours and say to yourself, I am going to study the Upanishad. And after the Upanishad study is over, I will look at all the things which are. Mahavakya Shravanam is capable of penetrating the mind of the student. What does this Mahavakyam say? Mahavakyam says, Tattvasi. You are that Brahman. You are that consciousness principle. That consciousness principle which is responsible for the Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya. That consciousness principle is your real nature. That consciousness principle is where you rest during sleep state. These are all indicators. Our mind has to go in the direction of our sleep state. Where do I rest when I am in sleep? I rest in Atma. Parikshit Maharaj, Bhagavatam, it says, 7 days he went through the entire Bhagavatam and he got Atma Jnanam in 7 days. Can I also get the same? That is why we conduct Bhagavata Saptaha. In 7 days, they finished reading the whole Bhagavatam. Asya Rupam Sandrisham Na Tishtati. The nature of Brahman does not fall within the realm of sense organs. Same message from Keno Upanishad. Try to recall what we learned in Keno Upanishad. Na chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, na manaha. The sense organs have a different field. The field of sense organs is anatma. It goes into the external world. It can see the trees, it can see the mountains, it can see the rivers, it can see all the other human beings, the birds, the insects. All this is anatma. It can see that. It can know that. But that is relative reality. It is Saguna Ishvara. It is not Nirguna Ishvara. The world which we see is Sagunam. It is with gunas of Prakriti. But this Prakriti has got another nature. It has got another nature of Nirgunatva, unmanifest condition. This unmanifest condition rests in Brahman. This is the way I have to understand. This is how the Upanishad revealed to me my true nature. Keno Upanishad, a very brilliant verse. What it says is, what cannot be seen by the eyes, but by which the eyes are able to see. Exactly like the example of electricity and bulb. Bulb by itself cannot help you to see the objects in your room. Electricity flowing through the bulb makes you see. Similarly, the spiritual light of consciousness flowing through the mind and through the sense organs is that Brahman. Tadeva Brahma tam vidhi nedam yaridam upasate. Don't try to objectify the spiritual life. See, I am that spiritual life. I am immortal. That spiritual life is ever there. Even when I'm sleeping, it is there. Whether I'm awake or sleeping, it is a condition of the mind. It is not a condition of Atma. That is what I should know. This is the inner truth of the scriptures. It is the scriptures which reveal to me the nature of Atma. Saguna Ishvara is available for darshana, sparshana. I can touch an idol. I can touch, I can see the form of Lord Ganesha. I can do puja of Lord Ganesha today during Ganesh Chaturthi day. I can do the puja, but that is for puja purposes. It is Saguna Ishvara, Ishvara with form. But the infinite Ishvara, which is all pervading, which is of the nature of Nirgunam. Because gunas means limitation. Bhagavad Gita in the 11th chapter, it says, the 11th chapter of the Gita is Vishwarupa Darshanam. Arjuna wanted to see the whole universe in that Lord Krishna. Many in one. Lord Krishna was saying, yeah, I can join to you. You want to see the universe in me? Yes, I can join you. But you cannot see it with your fleshy eyes. Natumam shakyase drashtum ena iva swacha chakshuhu. Divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogam aishwaram. You need divine eye, Arjuna, to see this spirit, to see this universe in me. You need divine eye. Same thing is said in Kathopanishad. You need a divine eye, which is the spiritual eye, through which we have to see this entire universe rising, resting, and resolving in Atma. See how beautiful these mantras are linked up. We have to use these mantras to understand the nature of Atma. When I understand the nature of Atma through these verses, my intellect will be able to see what it cannot see without the Shastra. With the intellect, with the Shastric knowledge, can have a darshanam of your real nature. That is why we study these Upanishads. The Acharyas, they tell us contemplate, contemplate. See what try to reveal that, let the mantra reveal to you the real thing, which is Atma. Tashchanenam chakshushana pashyati. No seeker can see Brahman because it is not an object, but how can Brahman be known then? Shastra is the darpan. The system of knowledge is Shastra. It is a system. It is a process. It is a structure of knowledge. Of what knowledge? Subjective knowledge. Therefore, a qualified mind is a mind which has got an inner eye. Inner eye means it has got the knowledge of the scriptural eye. The scriptural eye means what? It says that it is not, Atma is not known by the sense organs. That is what is called as a scriptural eye. Ashabdam, asparsham, arupam, agandam. We have seen this mantra before. It is not known by the eyes, it is not known by the ears, it is not known by the tongue, it is not known by the skin. How is it known? Through the Shastra Darpanam. It is the Shastra which reveals to me that there is an existence beyond death. Nachiketa wanted to know, is there something which is beyond this body? The Shastra says there is the substratum on which the whole universe is rising, resting, and resolving. That substratum, Nachiketa, you wanted to know. I have revealed it through all these mantras of Kathopanishad. If you have not got that vision so far, go back to Kathopanishad one more time. Pick up those mantras which will give you the glimpse of that Atma. And then once your intellect is able to perceive that Atma as your own nature, then you keep that Atma for the rest of your life and be free from all sorrows of life. All the impurities of the mind are burnt in 1 second. So, what is required? Shastram is the mirror which is required, and sadhana chatushkaya sampatti antakaranam buddhi is required. It is not the fleshy eyes we are talking. It is the eye which is the mind. Antakaranam. The buddhi is the eye. What is the nature of this buddhi? Ridhanas, manisha, sensitized mind, subtle mind. How do I make this mind subtle? By studying the Upanishad again and again. What happens when I study again and again? My mind dwells on something which is subtle, something which is abstract. In that process, what happens? My mind slowly has the focusing ability to see that Atma, which is there, but which I normally miss it. Nasa abhikripa, kriptaha. By a clear vision, understanding from the Shastra and from the Guru, this Brahman is revealed. Etat viduhu. All the wise people have known this Brahman in this way, as the subject, as Aham Brahmasmi. By knowing this, what will happen? Amrita bhavanti. I become immortal because I am not attached to the body and mind. I don't take that as real. I take Brahman, the spiritual content in this body, mind, and this world, that spiritual content, the consciousness, the pure existence is my real nature. I am able to understand, I am able to discriminate between Anatma and Atma. While listening to this scripture, while listening to this mantra itself, my mind is able to have a peep into that nature of it can get a glance. That glance of that Atma, it is a spiritual essence, it is immortal, it is eternal, it never dies, it is never born. Therefore, knowing that Atma is being that Atma, here the knowledge itself is the object which is always there, attained. It is always attained, but I didn't know this. Ignorance is the cause of samsara. Jnanam is the cause of liberation. That is what is said here. While listening itself, the student has a facility to convert aham jivaha, jiva bhava into aham brahma bhava. Jiva bhava is mortal, the body. Jiva is always attached to the body. Jiva is always attached to the mind. Body and mind is mortal. It keeps on changing. It is there, it is not there. Through the study of Upanishads, I have come to realize there are 3 states of experiences. There is a sleep state of experience, dream state of experience, waking state of experience. And beyond these states is this Atma. I have come to know this Tvam Pada Lakshabha. Without the Mahavakyam, I can never know. What is Mahavakyam? Tattvamasi. That Tat, which is the Jagat Karanam Brahma, is Tvam, is me, the Atma. There is no difference between Atma I and Brahman I. This Atma I is the same as Brahman I. I have to drop, you see, I have to drop the finite to attain the infinite. That infinite is not an attainment, it is an attainment through knowledge. Through ignorance, I disowned that nature of mind. Through knowledge, I try to regain that identity, that status of mind. It is a change in status. The dreamer becomes a waker. The waker becomes a super waker. The super waker is called as the Atma, who knows I am Atma subjectively. The very beautiful verses of Kathopanishad. They can give you a lot of meaning in these mantras. Again and again, studying these mantras with the help of notes. Try to go deeper within yourself. These notes uh, are an aid to go deep within your own mind for contemplation, for nididhyasanam. These are very, very useful. Next, we'll study two mantras together, which is talking about the essence of the same meaning which was given in the ninth mantra. The Lord puts it in extra form so that we have a clear knowledge of our. This knowledge is the highest. That is what is said in the 10th mantra.
यदा पञ्चावतिष्ठन्ते यदा पञ्चावतिष्ठन्ते ज्ञानानि मनसा सह ज्ञानानि मनसा सह बुद्धिश्च न विचेष्टते बुद्धिश्च न विचेष्टते तामाहुः परमां गतिम् तामाहुः परमां गतिम्.
In this mantra, the 10th mantra, the Lord explains to us what is the means by which we can go towards this Atma. What is the process? What is the process? Quieten the sense organs. Quietening the sense organs means what? Closing your sense organs to the world. Sit down quietly, close your eyes, the form and color is gone. When you don't hear anything, your ears are not functioning. Similarly, all the five sense organs are quietened. When the sense organs are quietened, the inputs to the mind are stopped. Therefore, the mind becomes quiet. Mind does not generate new thoughts. It does not project new thoughts out of memory or out of vasanas because of the training which you have given. When that mind which is calm and you recollect this knowledge that I am the Atma and this Atma is Brahman, you apply the Mahavakyam. When the mind is quiet, you apply the Mahavakyam of the scriptures and you see the revelation of the scriptures in your own intellect. And this revelation is the highest. It is moksha swarupaha. That is what is said in the 10th mantra. See, these mantras, if you open up like this, if you're able to do it within your own mind, they are the revealing revealing instrument. Shak Pramanam. to reveal what cannot be revealed by the sense organs and the mind. We'll look at the chanting of the next verse.
तां योगमिति मन्यन्ते तां योगमिति मन्यन्ते स्थिरामिन्द्रियधारणाम् अप्रमत्तस्तदा भवति योगो हि प्रभवाप्ययौ.
This process of controlling the sense organs and the mind is called as yoga. Simple definition of yoga. What is yoga? Yoga means it's a training of the sense organs. It is the training of the mind, which is called as damaha is sense organs. Shamaha is mind. Shama and dhamma together is called as yoga. All of you may be familiar with the word Ashtanga Yoga, 8 steps of yoga. It is a preparation for training mind to receive the Shastric knowledge. Samadhi, according to yoga abhyasa, is the highest. In Vedanta, we say Samadhi is a state, but it is not the final. There is a state which is beyond Samadhi, which is called as Atma. So it is a yogi who is free from the turbulences in the mind, who can control the mind. So this is a condition for getting Atma Jnanam. Yoga Abhyasa is discussed very deeply in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. If you want to be if you want to specialize in meditation, the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita you must know. There are 4 or 5 verses. If you meditate on those 4 or 5 verses, it also gives you all the steps of meditation. But the 4 or 5 verses which are there in the 6th chapter, it tells you what should you meditate on. Meditate on the nature of Atma. Yatha pipo nimatastaha. Your mind should become like a flame kept in a glass container, which doesn't have any flickering. That mind which does not flicker during meditation is a sattvic mind. It is an absorbed mind that can focus on the nature of consciousness from the scriptures, because it is that light of consciousness which is illuminating the mind. To develop such a mind is called as yoga abhyasa. Patanjali Rishi is the philosopher who has written Yoga Sutras like Brahma Sutra written by Vyasacharya. So, the culmination of Yoga Sutra is what? Samadhi, Nirvikalpaka Samadhi. There is no Vikalpa. Vikalpa means there is no change happening in the mind. Mind is steady, focused, ekagrata is there. There is no vikshepaha. That mind is in Samadhi. Saguna Ishvara, like Rama, Krishna, Devi, Ganesha, they are all Saguna. Saguna means they have with form. Nirgunam cannot be meditated easily without the knowledge of the scriptures. If you have the knowledge of scriptures like the definition of Atma, you can meditate on Nirguna. But without, it is very, very difficult, says the scriptures themselves. So for chitta samadhanam, for the focusing capacity to be built up, you do yoga abhyasa. Yoga abhyasa means controlling the mind on a certain topic, which is what we try to do in our meditation sessions. So when you get such a mind, a focused mind, what happens? You get twofold benefits. One is adrishta phalam. You get punya. You get punya means you come to realize there is something called as Kathopanishad. You go in search of Kathopanishad, a teacher who can teach Kathopanishad. There you come to know Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam. So that is all Adrishta Phalam. What is Adrishta Phalam? Adrishta Phalam, I am always very peaceful. These are the benefits of studying the scriptures, of doing yoga abhyasa, of you trying to meditate. These are all the visible benefits and invisible benefits. In the 13th mantra of 6th chapter, Samam Kaya Shiro Grivam Harayan Chalam Stiraha. You must have how to keep the body erect. The head, the body, and the neck are all in one line. Means always keep your spine erect. A few steps are taught in the 6th chapter. You can go into the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I told you about this flame which is kept in a windless place without flickering. Same thing happens to your mind. Mind is one pointedly thinking of Atma, Atma, Atma. I am that Atma. As an object, I drop the objectification tendency and I tell myself, I am the Atma. When that happens, what happens is all the vasanas in my mind, they are burnt like a seed which is roasted. All the sanchita karmas, they are all burnt in the light of meditation. When we are meditating on Atma, what happens is that can burn the Karana Sharira. Panch jnanani avatishtante. Culmination of meditation when 5 organs of knowledge are at rest. Mind is at rest, the sense organs are at rest. Manasasaha, mind is not filtering anything from the world, it is not projecting anything inside also. Then what happens? There is sajatiya pratyaya paha. Same thought is repeated again and again. First, we do it willfully. Aham Atma Asmi. Aham Brahma Asmi. Aham Nityaha Asmi. Aham Nirvikara Swarupaha Asmi. It is a willful, deliberate thought entertained in my mind. I am the spiritual essence in this body and in the entire creation. And this spiritual essence is immortal, it is ajaha, it is birthless, it is nityaha, it is always there, and it is amritaha, it is immortal. The spiritual essence cannot die, it cannot decay, it cannot wither away, it remains always. That is what is being described by Lord Yamadharmaraja to Nachiketa. What happens if I do it with will first and then what happens? A time comes then the same idea is there without your will, without your thought. That thought goes into your subconscious mind. That deliberate absorption becomes a natural, spontaneous absorption. The will recedes back and the mind is naturally quiet and peaceful with the thought, I am the Atma. This is the only way to know the immortal self. This is the only way to know who is there after death. Death is belongs to the body. Paramam Gatim, the highest goal of meditation is getting the concentration faculty to absorb this knowledge of Atma, which is Nirvikara Swarupa. No vikara, no changes in this Atma. It is always there. Changelessly, it is eternal. See, Prakriti is changingly eternal, always changing. Everything outside in the world is changing. Prakriti, Prakriti, changing, changing, changing. The sun rises, the sun sets. Again, the stars are, shining, and then you've got planets and galaxies. So much of change is happening outside. But all these changes cannot be there. All these changes are mithya. They are appearances. But they need an adhishtanam, which is Atma or Brahman. Atma is the adhishtanam. Veka is the adhishtanam entire dream universe. The super Veka Atma is the substratum, is the changeless consciousness, which is the substratum for the entire waking world. So that is the meaning of the 10th verse. So yoga abhyasa helps us to sharpen my intellect. And when this jnanam is taught to me, that comes directly into my intellect and I can realize that truth in myself. The 11th verse, which we have already chanted, tam yogam iti manyante. This state of absorption is called as yoga. See, yoga means ultimately reaching that pure mind. It is a means and end. Both, because it is this mind which gets the reflection of the Atma and it says, Aham Brahmasmi. It understands, I am the essence behind the entire universe. Sthiram Dharanam. Sense organs are sthiram. They are firm. They are held firm. They are not wavering. Apramadas tada bhave. Be alert to avoid any distraction. In this state of meditation, let nothing disturb you. Yatho yatho nishchadeti manaschanchalam astiram tatastatho niyam yaitat atmanye vashe naye. Whenever a thought comes and distracts you, this is the most precious verse in the entire 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita for meditation. There is no other verse which is comparable to this verse. It teaches you very easily what is meditation. And never give up. Many people initially they say that meditation is very difficult, and then they give up. But there are very few who say, let me try, let me try, let me try. A time comes when they say, oh, meditation is so easy for me. They just close their eyes and they are into this nirvikalpa samadhi state in which the Atma is shining. Here, Lord Krishna says, whenever your mind is projecting something, that is the state of Karana Avastha, where your Karana Shariram is active. Karana Shariram is the projector of thoughts in your mind because of unmanifest vasanas in the mind. It is this unmanifest thoughts, vasanas, impressions, which give rise to the next body. The Karana Shariram is responsible for the mind, subtle body. The subtle body takes another body, which is Sthula Sharira. This is what we study in the Mandukya Upanishad on Sundays. Okay. Yogaha hi prabhavapyayayu. Mind is the subject which flickers, which has got disturbances. Through yoga, I can control this mind, and then my shravanam becomes very powerful. My listening becomes skillful. Before shravanam, that meditation is called as upasana. I focus on the photograph of Lord Rama or Ganesha or Sita or Devi. So this is your preliminary meditation. Some people, they just sit quietly. That is called relaxing. That is the basic step. You just relax. You know how to relax. After the relaxation, then you start bringing the picture of some god, some form thing. You can meditate on your mother also. No harm. Because you are so much absorbed with her. You can bring out all her characteristics. So that is called as upasana. But then what happens when I study Upanishads? When I study Upanishad, I get a totally new knowledge about the world and about myself. It teaches me how to drop the pancha koshas and know the Atma. Then this is when after the study of, after the Shravanam, after the listening, when you sit down for meditation, it is called as Nididhyasanam. In our meditation sessions, it is called as Nididhyasanam. It is dwelling on the scriptural knowledge. Now, when you develop scriptural knowledge, the mind gets the ability to think deeper, deeper, a little bit more deeper. Every session of meditation, your mind is able to, like you climb the Mount Everest, 5,000 feet, 10,000 feet, 20,000, 26,000. You have climbed the Mount Everest. Similarly, you have to go deep inside within yourself. And that you can do only through meditation. Okay, so very beautiful mantras explaining to us how I can understand, realize this Atma in my own self. Next mantra.
नैव वाचा न मनसा नैव वाचा न मनसा प्राप्तुं शक्यो न चक्षुषा प्राप्तुं शक्यो न चक्षुषा अस्तीति ब्रुवतो अन्यत्र अस्तीति ब्रुवतो अन्यत्र कथं तदुपलभ्यते कथं तदुपलभ्यते.
See, Upanishad tells us that this Atma cannot be revealed by speech, by words, cannot be revealed directly. It cannot be known by the mind. It cannot be known by the eyes. Then how do I know this Atma? Tell me. That is the question of Nachiketa. Here, Lord Yama Dharmaraja visualizes this question of Nachiketa and says, Shraddha. Have the faith in the scriptures that there is an Atma. It exists. First, have this faith that there is Atma. Without faith, if you come to scriptures and you try to understand Atma, you will never reach it. We can't use our sense organs because it is nirgunam brahma. Sense organs can only see sense objects which are with gunas. Sense organs are formed from panchabhutas. We have seen in Tattva how the panchabhutas, each bhuta, each element is responsible for one guna. The earth has got panchagunas, 5 gunas. Space has got only one guna, which is the sound. So our sense organs are specially made by the Panchabhutas. Therefore, cause is the Panchabhutas. The effect will also be responsible for the Panchabhutas. Now, apart from the Panchabhutas, in this universe, what is there? What is there is Atma or Brahman. So, mind is also made of Panchabhutas. Mind cannot experience this. The speech cannot describe this. I can't use inference, logic, because logic also takes data from the sense organs only. To draw an inference, you need data, and the data is provided by the sense organs. But Brahman is not something which you can see through the sense organs. For example, they say this is from the scriptures, a son of a barren woman taking a dip in mirage water with flowers from the sky. He's walking on the road. Can you know anything? You cannot know because it doesn't exist. So something like this is nirguna. It is not there at all. But we are not talking about something which doesn't exist. We are talking about something which always exists. Visishtadvaitam, Yoga, Sankhya, Nyaya, they don't believe in the existence of Nirguna Atma, Nirguna Brahman, which is free from all attributes. See, there are two things. One is Sagunam, another is Nirguna. All other philosophers, they believe there is only Sagunam, Atma, and Atma with features. But they cannot give moksha. That is the problem. They use the same scriptures, but they come to wrong conclusion. So I am not able to objectify Brahman because it is the subject I. This secret takes 20-25 years of Upanishadic study. Repeated study only, then I am convinced. My intellect has got an objective orientation. Whenever I hear something, immediately my mind conceptualizes something about an objective world. Now, that conceptualizing ability has to be dropped. Not easy, but it is possible. Therefore, how is it made possible? I use the scriptural as with complete faith. The way the Upanishads say there is Atma, which is Nirguna, I have complete faith. Then it becomes easy. Yes, there is an invisible Brahman, Atma, which is the sustainer of this world, in which I am sleeping every day at night. If I have this faith, what happens? Immediately I start understanding the whole scriptures. Without that faith, I keep on having questions in my mind. How can it be there? Why is it possible? How, there is a lot of difference between a student with faith and a student without the faith in the scriptures. Na manasa na chakshusha asti iti bhuvataha. It can be understood. Brahman can be understood only by faith in the scriptures. If you don't have faith in the scriptures, very, very difficult to know the essence behind the scriptures. Shraddhavan labate jnanam tat paras sanyatondriyaha jnanam ladva param shantim achirena dikachati. If you have faith, very soon you will realize this art. Very soon, very soon. But have the faith. The one with the faith always has this ability to change, to transform his knowledge. Ashraddhavan, what happens to Ashraddhavan? He is always impatient. He renounces the guru and the teaching. He doesn't have open mindedness to own up something which the eyes can't see. He always has a concept. In Mandukya Upanishad, in the fourth chapter of Mandukya Upanishad, Shankaracharya and Gaudapadacharya says, all the concepts of all the philosophers are nothing but it is childishness of their intellect thinking about erroneously. It is your own mind thinking, yes, there is something, and then you're obsessed with it. It is not there. There is no God. You're obsessed with that thought. That is what is called as closed mind. When you come to Vedanta, keep all your mind completely free from any notion. Then you will understand Veda 100%. This verse, 12th verse, you must remember, Taittiriya Upanishad, this verse of the second chapter, the fourth section, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. The same meaning is repeated in Kathopanishad. See, when you study Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, parallelly other Upanishads, Kino Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, Kathopanishad, Bhagavad Gita, then you can put all of them together and you can make a garland of Atma, a beautiful garland of Atma, and you wear the garland of Atma, you realize your true self. That is the beauty of the study of Upanishads. Next, let's go to the 13th verse.
अस्तीत्येवोपलब्धव्यः अस्तीत्येवोपलब्धव्यः तत्त्वभावेन चोभयोः तत्त्वभावेन चोभयोः अस्तीत्येवोपलब्धस्य अस्तीत्येवोपलब्धस्य तत्त्वभावः प्रसीदति तत्त्वभावः प्रसीदति.
Here, in the 13th, Yamadharmaraja gives $1 million tip to the seeker. Very beautiful tip he gives. What is the tip he gives? He says, you want to know Atma? Yes. First of all, he says, Asti iti labdaya. It is there. First of all, you tell yourself, Atma exists. Then use the scriptures to understand what is the nature of that Atma. In Mandukya, it says it is not the three states. In Taittiriya, it says it is not a Panchakoshas. This is how you have to reach Atma. So, understand there is an Atma and then try to understand. In Kathopanishad says it cannot be seen, it cannot be Ashabdam, Asparsham, Rupam, Randam. Apply that knowledge to that existing Atma and you will realize that. Then the Atma becomes evident to the seeker. So the first stage is faith. Brahman asti, Atma asti. It may be a paroksha. There is some Brahman. Easiness is, first of all, the first stage. Paroksha. Then what happens? What is the next stage? That Brahman which I came to know through the Upanishad is my nature. Aham Brahmasmi iti jnanam. This is called as aparoksha jnanam, direct realization of that Brahman in this body-mind complex. From isness, you go to amness. From asti, you go to asmi. Tattva bhavena cha. That bhava of Atma, I come to realize in this body, and that is what is called as Aham asmi aparoksha jnanam. It is not a paroksha jnanam. It is not the indirect knowledge. It is a direct, self-evident knowledge. Because ultimately, what is this Atma? It is an independently existing entity. Knowing that entity only, it is independent. I can then say, I am that means what? I am that pure Atma, which is self-evident, which is self-conscious. These are the features of Atma. I learned through the Upanishads. I have full faith. Was my first stage. My teacher taught me first have that faith. It exists. Yamarama says, first understand it exists. Then you try to study the nature. Ashabdam asparsham arupam. Na antaprajnam, na bahishprajnam. Na chakshushar gachati, na vad gachati. All this knowledge you apply. When you apply this knowledge, what happens? Suddenly there is an illumination in your own intellect. Ah, I know this Brahman very well. It is me. It is me. It is me. Because I know there is nothing else which is got an independent existence other than this Brahman. The world does not exist independently. How do I know this? It is the Upanishad which has taught me. I am not saying this. Everybody has to undergo Asti Brahmatvam to Asmi Brahmat. Paroksha to Aparoksha Yoga Abhyasa and Shraddha are the first steps for preparing the mind. Come to Shravanam, come to Mananam, come to Nityasanam, and get moksha. The student gets liberation. Person understands that it is a wonder. Can such a thing exist in this world called as Atma or Brahman? Shravanayapi bahubhyo na labhyaha. Shrivantopi brahavo yamna viduhu. Ashcharya Bhakta. We studied this mantra in the second section of the first chapter. We are in the second chapter, the third section. Ashcharyo Bhakta. It is a wonder somebody can talk about this. Ashchar Kushalobhyasya Labdha. Ashcharyo Jnata. It is a wonder somebody can understand this also. Because it is not known by the mind. You cannot think about it, but it is revealed by the scriptures. The words of the scriptures are able to reveal what the sense organs cannot reveal. What the mind cannot reveal, the scriptures can reveal it because they are the pramanam for this Atma. There is nothing else which is a pramanam. There is no other source for Atma. That is why any seeker anywhere in the world who wants to know the Veda, what is the Veda teaching, he has to come to the Upanishads to understand the real truth of this entire universe. The rishis were the subjective scientists who discovered this reality subjectively in themselves. They then wrote scriptural books, their own illuminations which happened to them through the Shastric words. They conveyed the idea of how to realize this truth. There is a sampradaya, there is a methodology in the Shastra, in the system of knowledge, which is brilliantly described in the Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra is a text which puts together all the Upanishads together. It teaches all the Upanishads and gives out a beautiful pattern of Brahman. We'll study the next two verses, 14 and 15. We'll see the 14th verse now.
Yada sarve pramuchyante, yada sarve प्रमुच्यन्ते कामायेस्य हृदि श्रिताः कामायेस्य हृदि श्रिताः अतः मर्त्यो अमृतो भवति अतः मर्त्यो अमृतो भवति अत्र ब्रह्म समश्नुते अत्र ब्रह्म समश्नुते.
This verse is a very, very often quoted verse by Shankaracharya in his Bhashyam. Other Upanishad Bhashyams, the commentary when he writes, he quotes this mantra very much. It's a, it's a beautiful mantra which tells us what is moksha, what is the nature of Jnani's mind, what is the nature of Ajnani's mind. Yada sarve yante kama yasya hridhi srikaha. Kama means desires. When the desires in a mind are destroyed through this knowledge of Atma. I told you, when we dwell on the nature of the self-illumining light of Atma, that light can destroy all the Sanchita karmas and Agami karmas. Prarabdha is left behind. Therefore, Jnani completes his prarabdha, exhausts his prarabdha in this world. But because his Sanchita and Agami is gone, he feels very light-hearted. Therefore, he can enjoy immortality while living itself, which is called as Jivan Mukti. He attains the nature of Brahman here and now. It is not posthumous. It is not after death you will go to some heaven and then you will get freedom. Jivan Mukti means I get the freedom of dropping myself as a Jiva Bhava. For the body's existence, you have to depend on food, shelter, clothing, which comes from the external world. And the body needs it. You cannot say, I have no desire for food and shelter and clothing. These are basics which are required by all the bodies as long as they are alive. So if your body is sick, go and take medicine. It is the most intelligent behavior. Feeling hungry, go have a good meal. If you don't have a house, build a house and live in it. These are all basics. These are all required for the body's prarabdha karma. Here we are talking of the inner freedom, the freedom of the mind. He is no longer trapped by the mind. The mind has got impurities like fear, raga, dvesha, attachment, aversion, bhayam, insecurity, always feeling, oh, what will happen to this, what will happen to that, what will happen to all this, feeling of insecurity. Krodha, jealousy, mada, matsarya, all these are all impurities, right? Now, these impurities, they keep on rising in the mind and they cause havoc in my mind. Who is the jnani? What happens to a jnani's mind? Jnani has dropped the avidya, the ignorance about his spiritual nature. He has now got jnana. What are the three steps? What is what are the three steps we have learned in Vedanta? First is ignorance. Because I have ignorance, desires come in my mind to fulfill myself. So because of ignorance that I am not fulfilled, I am limited. Therefore, my mind keeps on thinking about what can I enjoy in this world. I can enjoy dharma, artha, kama, all these are all enjoyments. Because of this feeling of insecurity, non-fulfillment in my mind, because of ignorance, which is the Mula Karanam, I get into actions. Karma. Whole life is full of action and action and action. Action does not stop by itself. It will give me the fruit of action, the phala. Again, the life cycle starts. So, samsara is caused because of ajnana. But what happens when I study Kathopanishad? Kathopanishad teaches me I am Atma. My ignorance is gone. I am a purely independent entity. I don't have to depend on the body, mind, and all that. Body, mind will go through the prarabdha. As a jnani, he has dropped ajnanam, kama, karma. That knot which is tying a jiva to the body, he has untied it. What about Ajnani? The Ajnani is always with Ahamkara. Ahamkara means what? I am this finite body. I am a very limited mind. In this limited time, when this body is alive, I have to do a lot of things, karma. And I have to make them out of this world. That is the thinking of a jiva, of a Ajnani jiva. Ajnani jiva is never Purnaha. Jnani is Purnaha immediately because he knows there is nothing apart from the me. The whole world is Mithya. Mithya world exists, it doesn't exist, it doesn't, I don't care. But I am Satya. Jnanam express Apurvata is missing something in life. You see, suppose you also feel, oh, I'm missing something. That means samsara. How to get rid of this? Come and learn Atma Jnana. What I want from childhood to old age keeps on changing. As a child, I wanted only toys, balloons, matchbox collection, stamps, coins, small things, marbles. And then slowly I wanted more friends. Then I wanted so many different things in life. I want a car, I want a house, I want 4 cars and 3 houses. Then I want children. I want to get married. The what I want, it keeps on continuing. I want continues non-stop. What I want keeps on changing. This is called as apurvata. This is an expression which happens to all of us because we are ajnani. How to remove this limitation? Only through knowledge of Atma. Moksha is called as freedom from this jiva bhava. Kama, desire, after knowledge, it becomes non-binding. Because I do out of fulfillment for loka sangraha. That is jnani. What about jnani? He is always bound by karma. I want to get this. I want to get a better body after I die. I have to go to heaven. I have to enjoy something there. Again, come back. These are all desires and desires and desire. Lord Krishna describes the state of a jnani very beautifully in the Bhagavad Gita from the 55th verse to the 72nd verse. Very big section. Sthita Prajna portion. There, the 55th verse, he says, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyeva atmana tushtaha sthita prajnascha dochyate. He gives the definition of a jnani. Who is a sthita prajna? Sthita prajna means prajna is stiram. Prajna means his mind is not turbulent. His mind is peaceful. Who is that jnani? The answer is given as Atmanyeva Atmana Tushta. One who is happy remaining in his Atma Swarupa. He is the one who is a jnani. He is the one who experiences Parama Shanti belonging to Atma Swarupam. When he is a jnani, he is full. He doesn't require anything to sustain in life. He requires things for body, mind, for going through prarabdha. Yes, there will be something. All desires are located in the mind, and they are gone in the moksha state when the jnani understands that he is Nitya Mukta Swarupa. Not that I have become Atma only after jnana. He was Atma, he is Atma, he will ever be Atma. Atma is eternal nature of mind. This person who understands this Atma, Brahmavid, Brahmaiva Bhavati. The one who knows Brahman becomes Brahman. He becomes immortal. 8th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, has this verse, very beautiful verse. It says, Yam yam vyapi smaran bhavam tejanyante kalevaram tam tame vaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Constantly thinking, I am that Atma, I am that Atma, I am that Atma. This is the center of his thinking. This is the center on which he rests all the time. Yato yato nischariti, we saw in that 6th chapter verse. Where does the thought, he pulls back all those thoughts to which center? This is the center. The center where, the center of his being. This is the only eternal being which is always there. If I know this, there is no more birth for me. This birth itself I have nullified. Whatever karmas by which one dies, this verse says, Yam Yam Bhavati Iswaran Bhava. With whatever is the last thought by which a person dies, he will take the birth in the next time with that thought first. For example, when you sleep, if you have a good thought, I am resting with my Atma, you will have a very peaceful sleep. But if you keep on thinking what to do after tomorrow, what to, before you sleep, all the thoughts, you make a list of things to do tomorrow. Forget about it. Don't do it tonight while sleeping. Make it when you get up afterwards. When the day comes up, you make a list. That's okay. But the person who sleeps must be very clear, I am resting in my heart. The mortal becomes immortal by jnana. The one who thinks himself to be mortal drops that notion of mortality. Jiva bhava is dropped and Brahma bhava, Atma bhava is replaced by Jiva. Atra Brahma Samshnute. He becomes one with Brahman here and now. Right now, while listening to the talk itself, he says, I am Atma, which is revealed by Kathopanishad. I have full faith in that Atma being existing. That is what I have studied today. Okay, so Jivan Mukti is Brahma Vidya Phalam number 1. I will see the 15th verse, the 16th verse, and there are 4 verses left. I have about 7-8 minutes. Maybe I'll try and finish up one verse, and then next week we'll take. Let's see the 15th verse.
यदा सर्वे प्रभिद्यन्ते यदा सर्वे प्रभिद्यन्ते हृदयस्येह ग्रन्थयः हृदयस्येह ग्रन्थयः अतः मर्त्यो अमृतो भवति अतः मर्त्यो अमृतो भवति एतावद् अनुशासनम् एतावद् अनुशासनम्.
The Upanishad ends with this mantra. But there are three more mantras. That is a separate matter. I will discuss it next week. The teaching of Kathopanishad ends in this mantra. How does it end? It says, Yada sarve prabhidyante. When the knots of the heart of the buddhi are destroyed, the mortal becomes immortal. See, this is for a junior student. A mortal becomes immortal. This is for a student who thinks I am a jiva, he then becomes a Brahman. But when he is a senior student, what happens? He knows that I was always Brahman. See, that the difference you should keep in mind. So, what are the three knots? Avidya, Kama, Karma. Don't forget the three words. These are the three knots which are there in my intellect, in my buddhi. Avidya is the first one. These I mean what? I am born with it. I don't know my nature. Kama, because I don't know my nature, the scriptures say I have got desires in this mind. And because of desires, I am always doing action. So, what is the phalam? Hridaya Granthi Nashaha. Mundaka Upanishad also has the same verse. Vidyate Hridaya Granthi. Same verse in Mundaka. We have covered Mundaka Upanishad before. Uh, so, same message is given. Like a knot which has become very firm. Why do I take repeated births according to the scriptures? This knot is very tight, very, very strongly. Not easy to remove this knot. Anyonya Adhyasa has taken place. Anyonya Adhyasa means what? There is Atma and there is Anatma. Atma means the spiritual essence in me is there, the body, mind is there. Now, there is a confusion between these two. There is a mixture. When I am living, I am the mixture of Atma and Anatma. So, Atma is immortal, but there is an adhyasa. There is a mistake. Adhyasa means mistake. I commit a mistake. Thinking the body is me, I commit a mistake. But actually, how do I correct it? I am not the body, I am the Atma. Ahamkara and Mamakara are the granthis, are the knots which are there, which I try to remove the knots by the study of Upanishads. My Deha Abhimana is dropped by the study of Upanishad. From Ajnani, I become Jnani. As I become Jnani, I become mortal. From mortality, I become to immortal. As Ajnani, I am mortal. As Jnani, I am immortal. What makes the difference between mortality and immortality? It is the identification with Atma or with Ahamkara. Jatasi dhruvo mrityu, dhruvam janma mritasya cha, tasmada paryarte, natvam shochiti marhasi. We have done this meditation also on this verse. If the body is born, it will be reborn. If you think about the body, certainly there will be death of the body. But if you think about the Atma, certainly there will be no death. Lord Krishna describes it so beautifully. The same knowledge he gives it in the Bhagavad Gita. Amritaha bhavati. He becomes immortal. Now, etadvat anushasanam. This alone is the teaching of Kathopanishad. Nachiketa, you had asked the question about what happens after death. Then I gave you the answer. Najayate mrite va kadachit. That was the first lesson which I taught you in the First chapter, second section, 18th verse. That was the beginning of Kathopanishad teaching. In the third section, the 15th mantra, in this current mantra, my teaching is over. Upanishad is wound up in three mantras, 16, 17, and 18, which we will take up next week. Okay. So the teaching of Upanishad started from the second section, 18th mantra, first chapter, with this verse, Jayate Mrideva Kadachit. This Upanishad ends with this Hridaya Granthi, the knot of the heart, the knot of the buddhi being broken, and a jnani, ajnani becomes a jnani, a mortal becomes an immortal. This is the teaching of Kathopanishad. Very, very beautiful Upanishad. In very simple words, the Upanishad teaches us how can I realize my real nature. This is one of the best Upanishads to study when we are in this spiritual journey. Okay, next week is the Phalashruti, which is talking about Jivan Mukti and Deha. Okay, we'll take up next week, and also we will uh, we will do some revision of Kathopanishad first. We'll take up some revision, and I'm thinking of taking some revision next week of other Upanishad we have already covered, because I just want to take just to see where we stand, and then we will see what we should do, what should be our program next. One question I have with the group is, let me see how many people are attended today, and you can reply to me whether you want to have such uh, scriptures, such talks on Upanishad in future, like without Bhashyam or with Bhashyam. I aim to take Prashno Upanishad next, after this Kathopanishad, after 1 or 2 weeks. But that I want to know whether you want with Shankar Bhashyam or without Bhashyam. You can put your remark in the chat box. I will see what is the general feedback, and then I will decide. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There are a few remarks in the chat box. I'll go one by one. Manikandan is saying, controlling the mind by controlling the senses. Can we control the mind through the knowledge of Brahman? Yes. Mind is best controlled with the help of the knowledge of Brahman. The more you think about Brahman in your mind, automatically that mind becomes controlled. So this is the best practice. If somebody wants to know how to control our mind, bring the thoughts of Brahman, very simple thoughts of Atma or Brahman. From whatever you have studied in the Kathopanishad, even if you remember the one verse, it is the light of consciousness. I am that pure light. If you bring this thought in your mind, automatically your mind will get controlled, and automatically your sense organs will be controlled. That is why meditation is extremely important for a better Shravana. You don't get new knowledge in meditation. You only try to bring the knowledge which you have gathered in Shravanam. You try to own that knowledge as your self in meditation. So the pramanam is the source of knowledge is Shruti. The mantra, the knowledge is coming to you from the Veda only. And the Veda teaches me that this is the knowledge of my real nature. Okay, very beautiful question. My content, have I answered you? Is it clear? Okay, the last part of your question, can we make the mind to have free will to think what it needs to think? Yes. In your vyavahara, day-to-day activities, you will be able to use your free will very well. See, that is the beauty of this Atma Jnana. It helps you in your normal day-to-day activities. You will be a better husband, be a better wife, you will be a better mother, you will be a better daughter, you will be a better son after this knowledge because your mind is clear. See, when the mind gets itself rid of all the impurities, you may not get rid of all each and every impurity 100%. Even a little bit, if your mind is becoming more pure, it will help you in your day-to-day activities. Yeah, Manikandan, do you have any clarifications, further clarifications in this? Shanmugam, can you unmute all so that they can?
Thank you, Sagarji.
Yeah,
It's now actually when I do meditation, uh, uh, like the analogy which you give, like the atma is the electricity and the mind is the bulb. So instead of coming from the sense organs and then mind, I find it very difficult because the mind is always flickering. So if we bring this knowledge of Atma and realize that I am that electricity which is illumining the bulb, then I can ignore the bulb and focus on the nature of the electricity. So
good.
this was helping me. That's what I was asking this question. Like instead of coming from outer world to the inner world, if we see the world from inside, uh, it is helping me to control the mind in a much better way than struggling with the sense organs or the thoughts.
Good.
So
Yes. See, this shows that you have done a lot of Shravanam now. See, normally we say to a junior student, you start from the outside world, control your senses. That is what Lord Krishna teaches in the sixth chapter. He says, control your sense organs first, then come to mind, and then come to the Atma. But the difference, what you are experiencing, what you are able to do, is because you have heard for the last, I think, 3, 4 years, you have been with me in listening to the scriptures. So now you find it very easy to say, I am Atma, I am the light, which is the light, which illumines the mind, and through the mind only the whole sense organs and the world get illuminated. So it is easy for you because you have done Shravan, you have done listening of the scriptures. This is very good practice. Keep it up. This is the correct practice for all the seekers who have listened to the scriptures. So here it is like Nididhyasana. I am the light, you say, immediately what happens? You are not focusing on the sense organs or on the world. Automatically, when you say, I am the light of consciousness, you say that 3 or 4 times in your meditation, and then you start your puja. What even you can do mental puja, you can do Ganesha puja, you can do whatever puja you want. Then what happens is you are in complete control of your meditation. Then all these things become very easy. See, suppose you are able to do this type of meditation as I am the Atma and I am able to see that light which illumines my mind. Then what happens immediately? There is no more flickering of the mind. You're focused on the Atma itself, on the reflected consciousness. In that reflected consciousness, bring the Atma. don't stop with the always think of the features of Atma, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Then you bring the thought to Aham Brahmasmi, I am Nityaha. Bring those thoughts again and again, continuously let that thought flow continue. Sajatiya Vritti Prabhava. Sajatiya. Sajatiya means every thought should be about Atma. Continuously thinking in the lines of Atma, you spend 5-10 minutes, not more. You don't need to spend more than that. Because, see, by this, what happens is you get control of your mind. And then the Atma, the knowledge of Atma goes into your subconscious. First, I said willful, deliberate repetition. Then what happens? It becomes unwillful. That means it becomes natural to you. Naturally, the mind will start thinking it is Atma before it jumps into the world. And the time comes when it never jumps into the world. See, there are two things which happen. Whatever it has to do in the world, it will do very well. With crystal clear clarity, you will do your actions completely as per what is required on the job. You will do it. You will find it amazing. Oh, how come I'm so brilliant in my day-to-day activities? You have to do puja, Ganesh puja on Ganesh Chaturthi day. You do the puja. You have to go to the temple, go to the temple. You have to go and work in office, go to the office. If you want to attend to the emails, attend to the emails. So all these activities happen beautifully. All this because of what? That 5 minutes of puja which you have done, 5 minutes of meditation which you have done, it helps you to run this entire life very well. Okay, so that's good, Manikandan. And the Bhashyam, I have noted that. Then there are other people who say Upanishad Bhashyam is what Balakrishnan is saying. Jaya is also saying that. Kritika is also saying, Sumana, I prefer learning with Bhashyam. Okay. Uh, it's our where the highest truth is the clarity. With Bhashyam, Ramachandra is also saying, okay, I think Kannan is also saying they prefer Bhashyam. Okay. Almost everybody is here talking about Bhashyams. Okay, I have done the Prashnopanishad Bhashyam, Shankaracharya's Bhashyam. So next week, I will conclude the Kathopanishad. And before I take the Prashnopanishad with Bhashyam, I have the notes ready, except a few last few, one or two, say about 100 pages, 400 pages are remaining to be typed. But otherwise, the Bhashyam notes are ready. I will do Shankara Bhashyam, Prashna Upanishad, and Prashna Upanishad has got 6 chapters, 6 questions. In some of the questions, some of the chapters, because it is very academic, I will just give you the gist. But wherever it is important, I will cover the Bhashyam, especially the 4th, 5th, and 6th chapters are Vedantic chapters. So there I will cover the Bhashyam in full, completely. Otherwise, I will use the Bhashyam as the basis for the study of Prashna Upanishad. Okay, so that is taken care. Before starting Prashna Upanishad, I will do a quick revision of the 4 or 5 Upanishads we have done. Okay, Kaivalya Upanishad, Keno Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, and of course Katha Upanishad. 5 Upanishads we have finished. I will do Katha will be doing first, a summary. Then I will, whatever I've taken in the form of a tree diagram, I will try to use the same just to give you how to put all these 5 Upanishads and study them together, so that you come to realize it is the same Atma or Brahman which is being revealed in all the Upanishads. That is what I want. That is my goal when I want to do the revision. It will be a quick revision. and maybe 1 or 2 sessions before we start the Prashna Upanishad. Okay. All right. So that finishes the portion on the chat box. Now, Shanta, can you go ahead? You have some question?
Namaste, Shekharji. Thank you
Yeah,
very
tell me.
much. Um, I've got a question regarding the jnani. When he finishes his sanchita karmas and and agami karmas, he burns off. What happens to the people who have those karmas with him? Because his karmas are finished, but what about, because in karmic relation, it's always between the two people most of the time, and or two or three or whatever. So therefore, if, say, being jnani, if my sanchita karmas are over, what happens to the ones who have karmas with me? Is that
Okay.
also burnt off?
No. See, the Sanchita karma, which was in relation to the other people's karma, for other
Hmm.
people to enjoy, that also gets burnt off. So he
Okay.
never takes up a new body for
Hmm.
fulfilling the Sanchita karmas of others also.
Hmm.
Because the karmas are all interrelated.
Hmm.
So when he burns his Sanchita karmas, he also burns the Sanchita karmas of others who are expected to have certain relationship with
Relationship.
his Sanchita karma.
So those
So
people are lucky
completely
automatically.
destroyed. That means he has got nothing. See, basically what you have to understand is he doesn't have to take rebirth into another body again.
Hmm.
That is how the Upanishad describe rebirth. For
Hmm.
Ajnani, because he doesn't know the knowledge of his real self, he keeps on taking birth after birth.
Hmm. Okay.
Whereas a jnani, he knows. And actually speaking, if you become a jnani by the study of Upanishads, this whole process of burning the Sanchita, Agami, it is all comes within a few seconds. It is timeless, because when you view yourself as timeless, immortal, then everything else, your vision of the entire universe changes. You go through the process of prarabdha absolutely with ease.
Hmm.
Nothing happens to you because you're, see, once that fever of the mind, that ahamkara, I have to do, that fever is gone. Then
Hmm.
what happens? The body just glides through the entire motion of this birth. And it just flows. The life just flows. That's all.
Okay. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Okay, so if there are no other questions, I wish you all a very happy celebration of Ganesh Chaturthi. And so we will go through the Kathopanishad. 3 verses are balanced remaining. We'll finish that, do a very quick revision of Kathopanishad next week. And if time permits, we start the revision of other Upanishads also. A very quick revision. I won't go into the depth, but I just want to link up so that uh, you try to understand the depth of all these Upanishads uh, and what their objective is. Ultimately, you should realize Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, they all talk about same. Now, uh, so Prashna Upanishad we will do. Then the Bhashyam, I wait to do the Bhashyam of others. Let me study that and then I will have to take up. Um, Sumana, thank you for the Teachers' Day greetings. And so we'll see next week and then we'll see how to proceed with Prashna Upanishad. It's also a very beautiful Bhashyam Shankaracharya has written. Each of these Bhashyam is amazing. It teaches you something new. See, his mind is so clear. You cannot get any clarity without of an Upanishad without a study of Bhashyam. prayer form. It's too different, very different. It takes time. It takes see when you start doing Bhashyam, today, for example, we covered 5 verses. Last week we covered 9 verses. See, in one Bhashyam we can do hardly half a verse or 1 verse per session because it's very detailed. No? Okay. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Sagaji. Namaste.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste,
Thank you,
Shekaji.
Shekaji. Thank you so
Namaste,
much.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om Shekaji.
Hare-
Shekaji,
Bolo.
what do you mean by Nirguna? Some Nirguna bhajans or some normal bhajans? What do you mean between that?
Oh, Nirguna is it?
Uh,
Okay, Nirgunam and Sagunam. Sagunam means it is uh, with features, like for example, when you say, when you look at God with, say, Lord Vishnu with Shankar Chakram, or Lord Shiva, with, you view the picture of Lord Shiva, view the picture of Vishnu, it is called as Sagunam. That means with features. The Lord with head, hands, legs is called as Sagun. But what the Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita says is the same Lord is also there without the features.
mm,
That Lord without the feature is called as Nirguna. That
um,
means the Lord is invisible. You cannot see the feature of the Lord. That is a higher nature of God.
um,
What you see as God in a temple, you go to, say, you go to Vishnu temple, you go to a Shivan temple or Lord Krishna temple, you see the form. But
mm,
what the scriptures tell you is that form which you see is not the real, it is not the ultimate. It is not
mm,
the real God. It is God with form. God
mm,
without form is the ultimate, is the highest. This is what the Bhagavad Gita tells us and Upanishad teaches. God without form is called as Nirguna.
mm.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, Shekaji. Thank you.
Thank
One
you.
more question, Shekaji. It is Shri Baba used to say Sarda and Saburi. Which one is more important for us to do? Is it faith or, and the other one is patience, is it?
Okay, you're saying that which is better, right? Whether it is
Mm,
Sagunam or Nirgunam.
mm,
Okay. See, what all of us, we have to start with Sagunam.
mm,
Because Nirgunam is not easy for most of us.
mm,
Invisible God, if I tell you there is an invisible God, it is very difficult for you to think also. And your
mm,
mind cannot hold that God.
mm,
So the best for all of us is Saguna Devat. That means you pray Rama with form, Hanumanji with form, you chant Hanuman Chalisa, you chant Vishnu Sahasranamam, you chant small mantras of the God, think about the God with form, and that is for a beginner. After some time, when you feel that I'm comfortable when I do meditation, slowly I am trying to learn. When I keep on doing meditation, then you will enjoy Lord without form.
oh,
So initially, Lord with form. Later on, Lord without form.
okay, okay. Thank you, Shekaji.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Shukriya.
Namaste.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.